Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Shri Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu Bindu. We heard that Uttama Bhakti is of three types: Sadhan Bhakti, Bhav Bhakti, and Prema Bhakti. And among these three, Sadhan Bhakti is what we discussed that as well yesterday. What we heard, let's recap a bit. This verse which we heard in last class, Kriti Sadhya Bhavet Sadhya Bhav Sadhana Bidya, this verse of 1.2.2. It was clear till here that Bhav Bhakti, why Bhav Bhakti is in the middle of Sadhan Bhakti and Prema Bhakti. Sadhan Bhakti has anarthas. The sadhak has anarthas. That's why it cannot be called Prema Bhakti, Prem Bhakti. Prem Bhakti has no anarthas in the heart of sadhak. No offenses in the heart of sadhak. That's why in the middle there is a platform of Bhav Bhakti. That while performing Sadhan Bhakti, he can um, like he can attain Bhav Bhakti, and with that Bhav Bhakti the sadhak can get Prem Bhakti. Now it is being explained here. This verse is from Chaitanya Charitamrita. Krishna Prem is that vastu which is eternal, nitya siddh. It cannot be attained by any sadhana. It's nitya siddh. By chanting, hearing, and remembering, by sadhan bhakti. These are the limbs of sadhan bhakti. With this body, with our senses, the sadhan which we perform with these senses, with this body, that fruit of that sadhan which we perform with this body, that fruit of nitya siddha bhav manifests in our heart. That's why yesterday I did mention Jeev, living entity, is a very small atom. Brahmanu which means atom. And Krishna is like sun. Krishna is like sun. Krishna is Sat Chit Anand. He is like the manifestation of Sat Chit Anand, Krishna. And living entity can only taste one atom, can only like be, but the living entity is conditioned, and that's why the jiva cannot enjoy or cannot relish that happiness. But when that jiva is out from maya, from the clutches of illusion, then that happiness which is already present, the jiva can relish it, can experience it. Now that eternal constitutional nature of the living entity is bhakti. The formation of the living entity has bhakti. That foundation has bhakti. But to manifest that in our heart is called sadhan bhakti. That's why one should not think that only by the mercy of Bhagwan I can get Krishna Prem, so I should just be sitting idle. I should not do anything on my own. But to melt the heart of Krishna, it's mandate to perform sadhan bhakti. So yesterday I gave the example how the honey is there in the beehive and how it's dripping. Honey is present there on the tree. It's present there, but I am not able to reach out to that honey. So while with I am trying to get stones to store on that beehive, that's called sadhan, so that I can grab some, I can taste some honey. This is called sadhan bhakti. That is why we all do sadhan bhakti, to make our senses strong, like in one sense to burn our senses, because when gold is burnt, that gold shines, gold glitters when it's burnt. When when the senses are not burnt, means they are not really here. Burning of senses means stability of senses. Tel dharavat means how oil drips, flows from one bottle to another bottle. It's like in one flow, it's in one stream, unbroken stream. There is no break, no obstruction in that oil, the flow of the oil. When we do that kind of sadhan, that kind of sadhan bhakti, then we will face some challenges, some problems, because we don't have ruchi yet, we do not have taste yet. We are doing tasteless bhakti right now, tasteless business right now. Without taste, we have no taste in performing sadhan. Okay, because I have been told by Gurudev to do sadhan bhakti, so I'm doing sadhan bhakti. But without taste, how can you do it? Someone can question us this. So the answer should be what for that? In, there's already taste in those actions. I am not able to relish that taste, but the taste is present there in all those actions of sadhan bhakti. And all those devotees, Vaishnavas, who are relishing that taste, you ask them, you can ask them pratipadam, in every second they are relishing bhakti, that taste, highest taste. I am not able to relish it, but that does not mean it's not present there. So many devotees sometimes complain, what did I get by performing so much sadhan? I am, going through loss. I have so many problems in my family. I'm facing this, I'm facing that. So see, with that person also it happened, A B C D X Y Z. So they will give 10 examples, 10 names. That person also faced challenges, that person also faced challenges. So those examples which you are giving, all those are those who have no taste yet, no ruchi yet in sadhan bhakti. You should give examples of those who have taste. Why we don't give examples of such devotees, such people? Because every person thinks of his or her level. They do not want to go outside their level, outside their comfort zone. Suppose, for example, I am going through with okay, from 10 years I'm going through, I'm doing Ekadashi Harinam, but I'm facing problems in my family. Neighbor is also facing problem. My friend is also facing problem. They all took Harinam initiation and they all are facing challenges. They all are facing some problems. You gave 5 examples, but do they have taste? Where are those 5 names, those people who have Paruchi? You take their examples. Our idol should be who? Those who have taste. They are our adarsh, our idol. But people make our those people as their, you know um, idol. Those who have no taste in bhakti, in sadhan bhakti. So Maharaj is saying that already the taste is also already present in sadhan bhakti. It's just we are not able to relish it. For example, Jivere Swarup Hoy Niter Krishnadas, the Swarup of the Jiva, the constitutional nature, Gathan means constitutional nature, that is to be an eternal servant of Bhagavan Shri Krishna. But we don't have that qualification yet. We have not attained that yet. So Gurudev gave us initiation, then what happened? I do not need initiation because in my Swarup, I am already a servant of Krishna. So why I got initiation? So Guru Krishna Prasadapai Bhakti Lata Beej. By the mercy of Gurudev, I got the seed of Bhakti Lata. The beej, the seed of creeper of Bhakti, I got that by Gurudev's mercy through initiation. This is very contradictory point here. Jivere Swarup hoy Nityer Krishnadas. It's in the Swarup of Jiva to be an eternal servant of Krishna. And in the next verse, it is said, Guru Krishna Prasadepai Bhakti Lata Beej. Gurudev gave me the seed of Bhakti Lata, the creeper of Bhakti. He gave me that seed in my heart. But this beej was already, that seed was already present in my soul. So what extra did Gurudev give me? That seed to nourish that seed, the temperature, the seva vasana, the desire to serve, that Gurudev gave us. That seed should be nurtured properly in the right direction. It should go in the right direction and attain bhav bhakti, prema bhakti. This is called sadhan bhakti. By the mercy of Bhagwan and devotees. Devotees, not devotee, but devotees. Bahuvachan means plural sense. Not one devotee, but many devotees. But for Bhagwan, it is singular, not plural. Bhagwan, or by the mercy of Bhagwan, or by the mercy of his devotees. Except for these two, there is no other sadhan. There is no other mercy except for these two. Not by the mercy of any living entity, not by the mercy of our ancestors, not by the mercy of any king. Demons, Chudail, Bhoot, Pret means ghosts and all. Not by their mercy. We have only two options, Bhagwan or Bhakta, devotees. Shravan, Kirtan, Smarna, these limbs of bhakti. Okay. So our senses, not our gross body senses, but our senses which are in conditioned body, when they come, we perform sadhan with our senses. We will not get any new senses. Only with our these material eyes we will see darshan. Only with this jiva, tongue, we will chant Harinam. With our ears we will hear Hari Katha. But then why it is said, oh, the senses of this Mahapurush are so divine, transcendental. Oh, their eyes are so divine, transcendental, but their eyes are same. Then why it is said Premanjan Bhakta Vilochanena? Govindam Adi Purusham Tamham Namami Bhajami. This is from Brahm Samhita, this verse which Maharaj just said. We also see with our eyes. Shuddh Bhakt also sees with their eyes. But our senses and their senses, pure devotee senses, are different. Our senses, our eyes, has four faults, our senses, in our material senses, whereas the senses of great devotees, pure devotees, Mahapurush, have no faults, no these four faults. That's why their perception, the perception of great devotees, pure devotees, is through Vishuddh senses, means which are pure senses. For example, wherever Bhakti Maharani walks through, behind her, Riddhi, Siddhi, Mukti, which is liberation, all these offer her charmer, fanning. Someone would offer her chhatra, umbrella. Someone would offer flowers in front of her. And liberation, with their hands folded, walk behind Bhakti Maharani like her servant, maid servant. Just like that, wherever pure devotees walk through, from wherever they walk through, behind them, Maya Devi also walks behind them. Okay, leave Maya Devi. Anu Vrajamyam Nidyam. Another verse which Maharaj is saying. Bhagwan walks behind his pure devotees. Bhagwan. Krishna walks behind his pure devotees. So if Bhagwan walks behind them, so what is a big deal for Maya to walk behind pure devotees? And perfections, all liberations, siddhis, what's the big deal that they walk behind pure devotees? If Krishna can walk, then why can't these all walk behind pure devotees? Now, example. Let's learn with an example. These pure devotees are walking. This is pure devotee. This is Maya Devi. Pure devotees are walking. Mukti Siddhi are walking behind them. People like us with these senses, they will say, "Oh, these devotees, they are, they are, they are, they are touching Mukti and Maya Devi. They are touching." Ordinary people would think like this, that they are conditioned with Maya. Our senses would speak, would think like this, would see like this. But with Vishuddh senses, Vishuddh means transcendental. What they would see, that Maya Devi is walking behind this pure devotees. Liberation, Siddhi, everyone is walking behind these pure devotees. I also want to walk. This is the difference. This is the difference between senses, material senses and transcendental senses. Bhagwan, standing, hearing, remembering these limbs of bhakti, they appear on the senses of pure devotees. Now, coming to this point, what was the situation before? In earlier situation, there was there is a Shraddhalu Jiva, which is a living entity which is conditioned, but with his senses, he's chanting, hearing, remembering. By his ears, he's hearing Hari Katha. With his tongue, he's chanting Hari Nam. And this kind of Hari Katha and Hari Nam which we do with our senses, material senses, this also is counted in sadhan bhakti. Our senses are not pure yet, they are still conditioned. Perceptions and conceptions are still material. Still, uh, can we call ourselves as sadhak, because our senses are not divine yet, not pure yet, not transcendental yet. With with whatever we see with our eyes, it seems to be wrong. Whatever we hear seems to be wrong. So chanting, hearing, remembering, which we are doing right now, can this be counted in sadhan bhakti or not? Maharaj is asking, yes or no. So Maharaj is saying, raise your hands. Now Maharaj is asking if this cannot be counted in sadhan bhakti. Raise your hands. Yes, Maharaj is saying you all are wrong. This will be counted. Yes, Surbi Mataji, you're right. This will be counted in sadhan bhakti. Chandrika Mataji, the question was that whatever sadhan which we are doing with our present senses, our senses are not pure yet, right? We have impure senses, not transcendental senses. But whatever sadhan which we are doing right now, chanting, hearing, remembering, this will also be called as sadhan bhakti. How? Now Maharaj wants to prove it. For example, for example, like our Anuradha Didi from Germany, she says, please Maharaj, come to my house and perform fire sacrifice at my place. So I said, okay, I confirmed yes. I give all the list of the things I would need: wood, ghee, flowers, and some grass, some camphor. I give the entire list. Now the fire sacrifice has not started yet, and it's just we are just trying to get ingredients. I mean the things which we would need for the fire sacrifice. So all these are pre-preparations before the fire sacrifice. Can they call be as fire sacrifice? Yes, they will also be counted in fire sacrifices because the preparation has begun. The action has started. Actions have started. Only the fire needs to be burnt and swaha swaha has to be said. But the fire sacrifice has started since the moment we started collecting the things required for the fire sacrifice. All those activities will also be counted in as fire sacrifice because all these ingredients are required to perform fire sacrifice by the Maharaj in our house. Because we don't need the wood for ourselves, we don't need the ghee for us, we don't need camphor for our personal use. Why would we need for ourselves? We don't need to burn someone else, anyone else. They all are required for the fire sacrifice, so they all are counted as fire sacrifice. They all are inclusive in fire sacrifice. This is the example. Similarly, now here attentively Maharaj is saying it's a very important point which we all need to be knowing, which we all need to know, because many devotees, they become depressed, their moral goes down. Oh, I'm not doing any bhakti, I'm not able to do any bhakti, I'm not able to do any sadhan, I'm not pure yet, so why I should do this sadhan bhakti? Let me leave it, let me not do it. That's why it's important to know this the title is sadhan bhakti of this chapter. So Vishwanath Chatri Thakur ji is just a small essence, but if we hear uh, the point of Rupa Goswami from then this is so much in detail. We are just listening to synopsis, some essence by Vishwanath Chatri Thakur ji. Now let's come back to our point. Let me recap it. Like when we collect the objects which are required for the fire sacrifice, that those actions are also counted in fire sacrifice. Similarly, chanting, hearing, remembering, which we are doing right now with our present impure senses, even they will be counted in bhakti. Not different, they are not different from bhakti. So nothing to worry, do not worry, Maharaj is saying. Do not be weak. Our every action which we are doing with our present impure senses, they are counted in sadhan bhakti. Yes, our situation is not pure yet right now, no problem. Only our current situation will transfer to pure situation automatically, gradually. Only only bhakti can manifest bhakti. So Maharaj wants me to wait first and then I translate. So the actions of karma apart from bhakti, any karma like eating, sleeping, walking, and the actions of gyan and fire sacrifice, perform, sorry, yoga, fasting, austerities, all these, can they all give us bhakti? All these things which I just spoke, no fast can give you bhakti. I'm not talking about ekadashi fasting here. Any other fast which are not related to Krishna Bhagwan, those fasts I'm talking about. Some people fast for Shiva on Monday, some people fast for Hanuman on Tuesday, some people fast on Wednesday for some other demigod. Thursday is for Vishnu. People fast on Vishnu for Vishnu. Some people fast on Friday for Santoshima, and another demigoddess in India. And Saturday is for Shani Dev, and Sunday is for Surya Dev, God's son, sun god. So one day they take break on Wednesday. So all this fasting cannot give us bhakti. No. By performing tapasya, austerities, can we get bhakti? Yes, if you do fasting like for bhakti, like Ram Navami, fasting on Ram Navami, Krishna Janmashtami, Ram Navami, if you fast on these tithis, God Purnima, Krishna Janmashtami, all these fasts are coming right now, soon, Baldev Purnima, Ekadashi fasting, these all are for the pleasure of Bhagwan. These are the fasts which we do for Bhagwan and they can give us bhakti. It's clearly said they are Madhav Tithi Bhakti Janani Jatane Palan Kori. These are Madhav Tithis, all these. They can give birth to bhakti in our heart. These fasts can give us bhakti. Which tapasya can give us bhakti? Which kind of austerity can give us bhakti? Not that those austerities that all around me I have fire and I am sitting in the center and I have a hot pot on my head. These austerities, these tapasyas I have seen in Vrindavan. In the month of December and January, it's so cold in Vrindavan. Inside Yamuna river, one person is standing, even his head is under the water of Yamuna river, and he's performing tapasya. How he's breathing, we do not know. Everybody came to see him. It was crowded there. This cannot give us bhakti. If this would have given us bhakti, then Shobri Rishi, the one who was sitting in the water doing tapasya, why he did not get bhakti? Shobri Rishi. He was a yogi. Shobri Rishi. I hope you know his katha. For thousands of years, he was sitting in the water of Yamuna river and performing tapasya, austerities. Then he saw one male and female fish. He associating together. And then by seeing, he got the desire even to get married just by seeing male fish and female fish. This is not that tapasya for bhakti. He was not doing that tapasya for bhakti. So all those such bhogis and yogis who do tapasyas, We need to learn from them with our eyes open, which tapasya is for bhakti and whose tapasya is for just tapasya. That's not for bhakti. Every austerity or tapasya cannot give us bhakti. All fastings cannot give us bhakti. All yogas cannot give us bhakti. There are so many people who can fool us with this in India also and outside India also. So by hearing this scripture, we should give Srila Vishwanath Chaudhary Thakurji is giving us one eyeglasses, that with the glasses of my this book, Sindhu Bindu, you learn and then you see which person is performing which kind of austerity, tapasya. Another example I can give here. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada ji in Gaudiya Math, there were so many brahmacharis at that time, and one brahmachari who came from a very poor background, poor family. Poor means even if he would get one time meal, that was a big deal for that brahmachari. And even I have seen this in my mutt when I was living in mutt for 15-20 years. I have seen this. He came from a very poor background, and if he would get one time of meal, he would thank God for that. And then there were many other brahmacharis who came from rich family in mutt. So this brahmachari who was from poor, brahmachari A, who came from poor family, he complained to temple president 1930, year 1930, that I need a pair of shoes. Which shoes? 1 rupee shoe. That time 1 rupee was Indian rupee, means $10,000 in present time. $15,000. He wanted that expensive shoes. Temple president said, "Are you mad? Such an expensive shoes. No need. I would not give you. I will not give you." So he complained to everyone. The temple president is biased because he gave to another brahmachari B $20,000 shoes, and I'm asking for one rupee shoe, which is just for $10,000. He's not giving me. All these brahmacharis, we all have come from different backgrounds, and the president should be equal to all of us. He should not be biased. When Srila Prabhupada got to know about this news, Prabhupada laughed and he answered, saying, "It's not about 1 rupee or 2 rupee shoes. It's not about that. The point is of the vision. This tree, what is our vision? This brahmachari A, the one who came from poor background, for him to buy 1 rupee shoe is like sense gratification, bhog vasana. And another brahmachari B, the one who got 2 rupee shoe, he came, he was saying for Vinod Bihari Brahmachari, for Param Gurudev. Prabhupada was saying this for Param Gurudev, Vinod Bihari Brahmachari. He came from a very rich family. He was the son of a landlord. He came from such a big family. For him, wearing a 2 rupee shoe is like renunciation, because every day he would give donation of 3 rupees or 5 rupees. Okay, you take. He was so rich. So just imagine that person who is all daily giving 3 rupee, 5 rupee donation daily. He has so much money. If he's wearing 2 rupee shoe, this is like renunciation for that brahmachari, which is who was Param Gurudev. But that devotee who's not even getting any meal, which is worth rupees 10 cent, and when he gets to wear shoes of 1 rupee, that's like sense gratification for that brahmachari A. That's not renunciation, that's sense gratification. think Maharaj's video is stuck. So light went off. Maharaj is saying it's so hot in New York. I think Maharaj is in New York. It's so hot there. Everyone is using air conditioning in America, and it's loading. That light went off. So Maharaj is saying he's getting Indian taste in America as if he's sitting in India, because in India also there are times when lights go off for some times. So any austerities, any kind of fasting, any kind of yogas, they cannot be the cause of bhakti. Then how does bhakti manifest? How does she appears? How does she take birth in our heart? How bhakti takes birth? Bhakti makes bhakti appear. That's it. This is Siddhant. This is the complete Siddhant. Bhakt Sanjatya Bhaktya. Bhakti is the cause of bhakti. That's why Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smarnam, Navta Bhakti is Navta Bhakti can manifest bhakti in our heart. This is the straight Siddhant. There is no other solution. With any other solution, we cannot get bhakti. Only by doing bhakti, we can get bhakti. So we can decide what we want to do. We want to give our energy to be engaged in tapasyas, other kinds of fastings, or in the limbs of bhakti, in sadhan bhakti. So Shravan, Kirtan, Smaran, these limbs of bhakti are the cause of bhakti. So with our senses, uh, among Navda Bhakti, the topmost limb is Nam Bhakti. That's why Mahaprabhu through Nityan Prabhu and Haridas Thakur gave through them Mahaprabhu gave instructions to both of them, Nityan Prabhu and Haridas Thakur, that you go door to door. You go door to door and perform Nam Sankirtan. Ask for Bhiksha. Now you think, is this instruction only for Haridas Thakur and Nityanand Prabhu? Bhagavan only gave Gita for Arjun. Bhagavan spoke Gita only for Arjun or for us. That Gita is for us through Arjun. Similarly, this instruction of Mahaprabhu is through Nityan Prabhu and Haridas Thakur for all of us. So at our level, around us, we should try to follow this instruction of Mahaprabhu. We should give we should participate in the Sankirtan of Mahaprabhu. People are those who do this, they are very fortunate. We should be participating in this Sankirtan of Mahaprabhu. We should everybody cannot get this fortune. Those who would avail this opportunity, only they can become fortunate. Among around your friends, your relatives, your neighbors, call everyone in your to your house and give them the opportunity to perform Sankirtan. No, I don't know how to do, I don't know how to sing. No need to sing properly. You sing badly, sing bad, but then sing. That is important. Sing. Who will see? Who is going to see us? Mahaprabhus will see us. In his Sankirtan, he will see us. He will see your actions. Try to do, start doing it. Start making efforts. Why are you deciding right now that I will not get success? Do not decide, right now. Even Krishna smiled when Arjun said, Keshav, what would I get by winning this fight, by winning this war? What would I get by killing my brothers, my guru? Bhagwan said, why are you thinking? Why are you deciding? Why are you pre-deciding that you would win? Why are you pre-deciding that you would win the war? Mahaphaleshu kada, I will decide. I am the one who would decide. You have to just make efforts. Decision is taken by me, by Krishna. You just make efforts, let Krishna decide. This is sadhan bhakt. Then they came to bhav bhakti. Bhav bhakta. What is that? Okay. In sadhan bhakti, what we doing? All these limbs like chanting, hearing, remembering. What is the goal of these limbs? To get bhav bhakti. That's the goal of sadhan bhakti. So all those actions of sadhan bhakti will be called as sadhan bhakti. Before fire sacrifice, when we are collecting the objects which are required for fire sacrifice, that actions, those actions are also called as fire sacrifice. Similarly, in sadhan bhakti, the actions which we do, chanting, hearing, remembering, those limbs can be called as bhav bhakti, because we are aiming at bhav bhakti. So they can be counted in that category. To call them as sadhan bhakti will be a mistake, would be a mistake. Oh, I'm doing bhav bhakti. Wow. It's so such a good news. We are not doing bhav bhakti. Under bhav bhakti's shelter, we are aiming for higher goal. That's why with the activities, we get bhav, emotions, bhav. We can get bhav. The bhav can appear in our heart. Those activities are called sadhya bhav. They who will make bhav bhakti appear in our heart? Austerities, yogas, fasting? No. Sadhan bhakti only will make bhav bhakti appear in our heart. Sadhan bhakti. So this is such an important step. Bhav sadhan bhakti is such an important step. Do not think that only bhav is required and I should not do any sadhan. This is wrong concept. Sadhana bhakti it's only sadhana bhakti which can make bhav bhakti appear in our heart. This is one siddhant, and that that bhakti, um, that bhakti which can give us dharma, arth, kam, moksha, economic development, liberation, sense gratification, lower dharma. That bhakti which gives this, those people who do dharma, religious dharma, re- dharma, arth, kam, and moksha. These four, they have only approach to these four, can you see that these people are doing bhakti? Those who are behind these four things: money, lust, liberation, economic development. So those people who are running behind these four, they cannot be counted in the category of bhakti. Dharma, religious dharma, economic development, liberation, and lust. You perform religious dharma to perform. Sorry, yeah, to fulfill your desire, you performed Ganesh Visarjan. It's another festival in India, in Maharashtra. To fulfill our heart's desire, we did some other fasting and for some fire sacrifices, and very few people go for liberation as well. This is all, these are not bhakti at all from any angle, from any point. It's not at all bhakti. So all these are kept aside, apart from sadhan bhakti, because dharma, arth, kam, moksha cannot give you bhav bhakti. These are kaitav. Kaitav means cheating propensity. Dharma, arth, kam, moksha. These are cheating propensities. Kaitav means dhong, cheating, to lie in the name of bhakti. They all run behind dharma, arth, kam, moksha. It's very easy to say, oh, in the name of bhakti, they are doing so many things. But those devotees who are doing dharma, arth, kam, moksha in the name of bhakti, they are not doing sadhana bhakti. That cannot be, they cannot get bhav bhakti. Only by sadhana bhakti one can get bhav bhakti. What is that sadhana bhakti? Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, the limbs of Navda Bhakti, first three limbs of Navda Bhakti. So you see around yourself, so many such dharmas are going on, such religious dharmas are going on. Many such cults are there present in our society. Even those people do kirtan. They also do archana of Bhagwan, worship of Bhagwan. This is not sadhan bhakti. And you see in their seminars, in their programs, millions of people are sitting, millions. Prime Minister is shaking hands with them. Many big businessmen are coming. They have popularity, they have name and fame, they are famous, they have millions of viewers. But if you scale them in on the scale of sadhan bhakti, they are not even at the level of zero. And on the other side, among you and me, those who are doing little bit of sadhan bhakti daily, its scale is very high. Because it's, we are aiming to bhav bhakti, and their scale is completely zero, as per Shrimad Bhagavatam, as per Vaishnavism, completely zero. And and they are actually showing off themselves as hero in the society, that they are hero, but they are zero actually, Maharaj is saying. That's why sadhan bhakti is kept aside from all these four concepts: dharma, arth, kam, moksha. They cannot be called as sadhan bhakti. The reason is, which which title we started this katha with? Uttama Bhakti. This was our title, right? In the beginning, Anya Bilashita Shunyam Gyan Karmad Anavritam. All these episodes we heard till now, all these are targeted to Uttama Bhakti, for Uttama Bhakti. That's why so many details, specifications, so many siddhantas, so many are cut off, branches are cut off, and we have grabbed the main root. We have come to the main root. Bhakti is Anya Bilashita Shunyam. Here, dharma, arth, kam, moksha have no place. Projit Kaitav. Dharma Projit Kaitav. You pick it up and throw it. Only Bhagavataram and Uttama Bhakti are spoken here. Someone can doubt. If you have doubt that sadhan bhakti sadhan bhakti one can get bhav bhakti, so bhav bhakti was not present before. By sadhan bhakti it appeared. In that situation, bhav bhakti becomes non very intelligent person can think of this point. One question, one doubt has come here. Maharaj is saying, listen attentively. The doubt is, with sadhan bhakti we can get bhav bhakti. So this means that bhav bhakti was not present before. I will do sadhan bhakti, then I will get bhav bhakti. Means bhav bhakti was not present before. By doing sadhan, I got it. This means that with only sadhan bhakti, bhav bhakti can be attained. By saying like this, by speaking like this, one conclusion comes here that bhav bhakti is temporary, anitya, non-eternal. Because sadhan bhakti is giving bhav bhakti. That means bhav bhakti earlier was not present. So it's temporary, it's not permanent. Bhav bhakti. That is why this bhav bhakti is um, how this can be taken as it should be actually eternal bhav bhakti, not temporary. But how can we take it as eternal? To remove this doubt, to remove this doubt, the word nitya is used here, eternal. In the verse it is said, bhav is nitya siddh. Nitya siddh means Bhagwan's nitya siddh parikar. They already have this bhav present in their heart. The eternal associates of Bhagwan. That nitya siddh bhav which is present in nitya siddh is also in us. It manifests in our heart. It comes in our heart. It appears in our heart. It's little technical, Maharaj is saying. Yes, Survi Mataji, it was unmanifest. I am doing bhakti, I am chanting daily, I am fasting on Ekadashi, I do services. So what is bhakti? Which which bhakti you are doing? Sadhan bhakti, bhav bhakti, or prema bhakti? What is that? You are doing uttama bhakti or nimna bhakti? So many questions. It's so confusing. When Gurudev used to speak Harikatha on this, we all used to get confused. What Gurudev is saying? What is he speaking about? It was khatpat means confusing. What sadhan bhakti? What then bhav bhakti? Then prem bhakti? Then sadhan bhakti, raganuga, vedi bhakti? Then what Gurudev used to say? Sadhan bhakti can give us bhav bhakti. This means bhav bhakti was not there before. It can be attained later on. What is this all about? So that means it's not eternal bhav bhakti. But in the verse it is said it's nitya siddh. Where is it? Nitya siddh. Where is it nitya siddh? In Italy, Hawaii, New York. In where is bhav bhakti? In Holland. Where is bhav bhakti? So we need to hear it. We need to understand it carefully. So this topic needs attention, full attention. And one time, two time, if we hear, we can understand. Because anybody can cross question us. The point here is, we just heard dharma, arth, kam, moksha, economic development, liberation, religious dharma, and lust. They cannot give us bhakti. This is the first point. Second point is sadhan bhakti. Only bhakti can give birth to bhakti. There's no other second solution. Third point, the goal of sadhan bhakti is to get bhav bhakti. From where bhav bhakti comes? From sadhan bhakti it comes. Bhav bhakti. So you, me, we all are doing sadhan to get to get bhav bhakti, to get bhav bhakti, to attain bhav bhakti. Suppose for example, bhav bhakti is like one mango fruit, and I am doing sadhan to grab that mango from the tree. My sadhan which I am doing to get that arm means I am doing sadhan to get that mango fruit. Sadhan bhakti can only give bhav bhakti. That does not mean bhav bhakti. The doubt here is that sadhan bhakti is giving birth to bhav bhakti. So that means bhav bhakti is not eternal. But the answer is no. But in the verse it is said nitya siddha se, that bhav bhakti is nitya siddha. In the shlok, in the verse, it is said like this, that bhav bhakti is nitya siddh, it's eternally present. It's not temporary. Then why I'm doing sadhan? And for whom I'm doing sadhan? It is eternally present in my heart. And I'm doing sadhan to attain it. But it's nitya siddh, it's eternally present. Then where is it eternally present? Why it is said nitya siddh? Bhav bhakti. So at every point question can be raised here. Why you called bhav bhakti as eternally present? Because it is eternally present where? In the eternally in the eternal associates of Bhagwan. The eternal associates of Bhagwan, it's present in their heart, inside them. This bhav bhakti is eternally present inside their heart. Bhav bhakti means bhav. They have prem. Actually, they have prem. From their heart, we living entities, in the heart of living entities like us, that bhav appears, it manifests. That's why. So why we doing sadhan? For we are doing sadhan so that bhakti, bhav bhakti comes from their heart to our heart, from the hearts of pure devotees to our heart. That's why this bhav bhakti is nitya siddh. And our sadhan is for what? To 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 grab it, to attain it, to attain that bhav bhakti from their heart. This will only happen when their heart will melt. Their heart will melt by seeing our strong sadhan, our sacrifices, our practices. When they will see our practices, our strong sadhan, their heart will melt. And heart will melt means honey will drip, madhu, honey will drip. And that bhav bhakti will also manifest in the heart of sadhak like us. नित्य सिद्ध कृष्ण प्रेम साधु कबू नाय श्रवण आदि Krishna prem is nitya siddh. By sadhan it cannot be attained. Do not think my sadhan, with my sadhan I am going to attain Krishna prem. It's already present there. What have we proved? What have we done? It's already present there. But then what are we doing? We are doing the limbs of bhakti like Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smarnam, and and we are we are trying to give birth to that bhakti in our heart through the limbs of bhakti, through the limbs of bhakti, like chanting and hearing. That's why sadhan bhakti is compulsory, it's mandate, it's essential. With only sadhan bhakti, the heart can become soft and pure. The sadhan bhakti, that Bhav Bhakti Krishna Prem can appear, manifest in our heart. This is so important. We cannot reject sadhana bhakti. We cannot cross it. The platform of sadhana bhakti is so important. Tomorrow we will hear. Tomorrow we'll connect. Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.